What if the last person tracking you was your own mother? On August 28th, 2013, a 19-year-old college student named Bryce LaSpisa was supposed to drive home to see his parents in Orange County, California. A simple 3-hour trip he had made countless times before, but this time, something was very wrong. Bryce left his apartment in Sierra College around 11 p.m. His mom, Karen, had been texting him all day, making sure he was coming home. He seemed fine. He seemed normal. He told her he loved her and that he'd see her soon. But then hours passed and Bryce never showed up. His parents started to panic. Where was their son? They checked his location on his phone, and what they saw made absolutely no sense. Bryce wasn't driving toward home. He was driving in the opposite direction, toward an area he had no reason to be in, and that's when things got terrifying. Karen called him over and over. Finally, he answered, but he sounded strange, distant, like he wasn't really there. She asked him where he was going, and he said he was coming home, but the GPS showed he was just sitting there, parked at a rest stop, not moving, for hours. His parents were getting seriously worried now, so they called the police and asked them to check on him. When officers arrived at the rest stop, they found Bryce sitting in his car, just staring ahead. They talked to him, asked if he was okay. He said he was fine. He said he just needed to rest. The officers saw nothing wrong, so they let him go and told him to drive safe. That was a mistake. Bryce started driving again, but he still wasn't going home. His parents watched his location on their phones, and he was moving so slowly, stopping randomly, going in circles. It was like he was lost, or like he didn't want to get home. At one point, he stopped at a gas station and just sat there for hours again. His mom called him and begged him to tell her what was wrong. Bryce told her he had something to tell her, something important. But then he said, "I'll tell you when I get home," and hung up. Karen's heart was racing. What did he need to tell her? What was happening to her son? Then around 2 a.m., Bryce's phone died, or he turned it off, and his parents could no longer track him. They were in full panic mode now. They had no idea where their son was. Hours went by with no word, nothing, just silence. Then finally at 5:30 a.m. they got a call, but it wasn't from Bryce. It was from the California Highway Patrol. They said Bryce's car had been found, crashed, at the bottom of an embankment near Castaic Lake. The SUV had rolled down a steep hill. The back window was shattered. There was blood inside. But here's the thing that made no sense. Bryce was gone. He wasn't in the car. He wasn't near the car. He had vanished. The police searched the area immediately. They brought in search dogs, helicopters, dive teams to search the lake. And the dogs did pick up Bryce's scent. They tracked it away from the crash site toward a truck stop, but then the scent just disappeared. It was like he walked to that spot and then vanished into thin air. How does a teenager crash his car in the middle of nowhere and then just disappear? His parents rushed to the scene. They saw the destroyed car. They saw their son's belongings scattered everywhere. But no Bryce. The days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and there was no sign of him anywhere. But here's where it gets even stranger. In the days leading up to his disappearance, Bryce had been acting really weird. His girlfriend said he broke up with her out of nowhere. He gave away his Xbox and his personal stuff. Like, he was never coming back. He told friends he was having an existential crisis, whatever that means. And his roommate said Bryce had been drinking a lot and seemed really anxious about something. His parents knew none of this. To them, Bryce was just their normal, happy son coming home for the weekend. So what happened? Some people think Bryce was having a mental breakdown. Maybe the pressure of college got to him. Maybe he was experimenting with drugs. His parents found out later that he had been taking a medication called Vyvanse for ADHD, and he'd been drinking alcohol with it, which is really dangerous and can mess with your brain. Maybe he became disoriented, confused, and wandered off into the wilderness and got lost. But here's the problem with that theory. People reported seeing someone matching Bryce's description. After the crash, there were sightings of a young man walking near truck stops and rest areas in the days following his disappearance, but none of them were ever confirmed. Other people think something darker happened. What if someone picked him up after the crash? What if he was targeted? What if he got into the wrong car with the wrong person? The area where he crashed is known for transient activity. Could someone have taken advantage of him in his vulnerable state? His parents don't believe he ran away. They think their son is out there somewhere, or was out there, and something terrible happened to him. The most heartbreaking part? That last text message to his mom. "I love you." Those were the last words she ever heard from her son. Was that his way of saying goodbye? Did he know something was about to happen? Or was he really planning to come home and something went horribly wrong? The police investigated everything. They looked at his phone records, his bank accounts, his social media. There was no activity after that night. It's like Bryce LaSpisa just ceased to exist. To this day, over 10 years later. Bryce has never been found. There's been no body, no confirmed sightings, no answers. Just a destroyed car and a family left, wondering what happened to their son. His parents still search for him. They still hold out hope that maybe, just maybe, he's out there somewhere alive. But as the years go by, that hope gets harder and harder to hold on to. So what do you think happened to Bryce LaSpisa? Was it a mental health crisis that led to a tragic accident? Did he intentionally disappear to start a new life? Or did someone or something take him that night? The answer is out there. Somewhere. But until Bryce is found, this case remains one of the most haunting unsolved disappearances in modern history.